the week off, did you sense that the shooting would come around like it did tonight? Was there any indicators of that?
I think I may have mentioned it to you, or maybe it was at the radio show. I can't remember when I said it. I think the one thing that I was immature about in the November schedule is not necessarily the opponent, not necessarily not understanding that 6 out of the 8 games were on the road, not those things. I think my lack of maturity in that was not realizing how much time that we missed here. I'm not talking about the games, but I think we were gone 11 days in the month total. And in that 11 days that we were gone, there were only 23 days of playing, right? So we were almost gone just as much as we were at home. And I understand the wear and tear of your body and playing that level of competition and those things, but our guys were never in a groove here in our gym. Like, we practiced in Reed on Monday for the first time since the Thursday before Oral Roberts. Is it 10 feet tall? Is everything the same? And Hoosiers, yes. But just waking up in your bed, doing an individual workout, doing a practice, doing the extra shooting. You know, we have those, this summer, one of the few teams in the country that purchased NOAA. That's what all of the NBA teams use. And it's been a game changer within our program because our players know per day how many shots they're shooting, where they're shooting them from. It's facial recognition. And so, like, they also know, I didn't think about this when we got it, they also know that I know. And so subliminally, that's helped. I didn't necessarily think that we were going to set a school record in regards to percentages and attempts and those things. But I did think that being back home, even though we got home Thursday at 3, we worked Friday morning, we worked a full day Saturday, off Sunday. But by the time everybody woke up Monday, I felt like we were coming back to life a little bit. And I thought that yesterday we were getting real close to being normal. And I thought shoot around this morning was, or this afternoon was really good. So.
What can you say about Jace Carter? 4 threes in the first half alone. It seems like he really had a good shooting night for you guys.
I think he was shooting 17% entering tonight, so that'll help. I believe in Jace. I've believed in him from the first time I ever met him in person. I absolutely adore what he's about on and off the floor. I did not know if he could play. I had done no research on him. The staff had done it. He was the first player we went and saw after the loss to Penn State. He's easy to cheer for. He's incredibly consistent as a worker, has Dexter Dennis-like qualities as a listener. I don't think he's a 17% three-point shooter. I don't know that he's going to make 4 again, but it's probably somewhere in between.
This might be a kind of a game deep cut. I know with like 4 minutes to go in the first half, y'all run a play and Hayden hits a three-pointer and you ran out to Wade and y'all kind of did it. What was that about?
Further proof that God likes unselfishness, and that's his only participation in basketball. 4 could have shot that ball, and 4 was playing out of his mind too at that moment in time. We define predictable, words we use, we define predictable, and our numbers, and it's a long story like everything else I talk about, but low turnover rate is connected to more field goal attempts, which is connected to #1 in the country in offensive rebound percentage, which leads to being fouled more often than not. So all of those things are a byproduct of being predictable. The prerequisite is we can't turn it over. But when we don't turn it over, if it's predictable, we have a higher percentage chance of making the shot, and we have a higher percent chance of rebounding the shot if we miss it. And 4 was about to be unpredictable, and he has a wider spectrum of unpredictable than H does. But because he was predictable, I believe that's why H made the shot.
Jumping off of that, you're usually animated on the sideline. It seemed like you were a little extra exuberant tonight.
Yeah, I get excited when the game's after 7 because that's normally when I get to be with my wife. And so it was a late game, so I just had more emotion than normal.
Do you get any bonus or extra for going out and mopping during timeouts?
No, I'm the best floor sweeper you've ever known because that's how I grew up. But I do not like fouling a three-point shooter. Do not like missing free throw blackout. And when there's water on the floor, it gives me hives because that's how guys tear their ACL. And so not being funny, I don't take that lightly.
How bad was it down there? We were at the other.
It was like ice. And I saw the kid do a normal kid job, and it was still ice. So
Y'all didn't even have a turnover until.
I know, and it was H. It was H being unpredictable. And then Bip was the second one, right? We played a long time. When was H's turnover?
13 minutes left.
That has to be a record. I know it. You can't chat it. It's so important. I think entering tonight, Brent, we were 9th in the country in turnover rate. First in the country in offensive rebound percentage. And they're tied together. We lose at Virginia because we had the highest turnover rate we've had. And it was also the slowest game of the year thus far. And it's just, we can't overcome that math, particularly against a defense as good as theirs. If we can play with a low turnover rate, it impacts us so much. And 4 has been really good outside of Virginia. He's been really good in that regard. And our team, through 9 games, has been superb. But I thought tonight was... those helps our numbers even more.
You guys hit 14 threes tonight. Apparently that's the tie for the most that they've hit during your tenure.
Is that right?
That's the word that we got.
Yes, correct.
Do you think that's just a result of the, like you said, getting the field?
I think some of it is. I think some of it's predictable. I think some of it's being back home, like you said. I think we were averaging 8 coming into tonight's game and giving up 9. 9 is probably, we're going to force more threes than most. I think, yeah, it wasn't because we were doing anything different than we normally do. I think you probably shoot a higher volume when you're making some. You feel good. But I'm glad that there was probably some confidence that comes from tonight's shooting for sure. H went one of 9 at Virginia. I think he was 1 of 4 from 3. I think we were 4 of 23 at Virginia. And 4 was worse than H, I think, at Virginia. So Jace was shooting 17% through 8 games. So for sure, those 3 guys that started for us. I thought Mo was really good as the first guard off the bench. I thought he played his best game other than the 2 turnovers. One was Wildens on the cute pass that Wildens is never going to catch. And so those are the 4 turnovers. H, unpredictable. Bip, Mo on the short roll. What was Mo's second one?
Trying to toss stuff off the backboard?
No, the official helped us on that. That was Jace that threw a bad pass to Solo. It hit the side of the backboard. I don't remember Mo's second turnover.
It was a travel.
It was?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What? How much time was in the game?
3 minutes.
Does it say who called it? Jeff Clark?
And not to over dramatize a December game, but after Virginia, is this the kind of performance that you think is a good
I'm encouraged that after all we went through in November, the growth of maturity of our team and how we've handled the last 5.5 days. I think the staff has been elite, as good as I've ever seen. And I just mentioned it to our guys, and it's hard for players to understand. You can never not think that there is not great value in coaching. And I think our assistants in their specific buckets have been very efficient and effective in 6 out of 8 games on the road in November and the second toughest schedule in the country. And then how they went about preparing for this game. Guys are spent physically, guys are spent mentally because they've been taxed, and guys are exhausted emotionally. And I think our staff was really good, and a credit to the character of our players. I think they received all of that really, really well. So I'm encouraged by what transpired since we got back from Virginia. And as I just mentioned to them, we'll be off tomorrow, and then the next day is 2 days before, the next day is 1 day before, and then an afternoon tip the next day. So I haven't done any work. I know they won at Missouri by 15. I know they beat Michigan. I know they beat Arkansas. I know they lost to Nova in the championship. I know that they beat VCU at VCU tonight in overtime. I know they lost by 1 possession at Ole Miss. They had 2 guarantee game wins. They've only played 2 games at home, and Sunday afternoon will be their 6th game in a row not playing at home. And so that's all I know. And we got a lot of work to do to be ready for Friday morning for early bird.
All right.
Thank you, guys.